Your sister earned the new motorcycle. She actually calls. Mom said as she handed me the keys. I just smiled and replied, cool. Then she can cover your expenses this month. The next day, I removed my name from their insurance and watched the panic begin. I, 28M, stared at the motorcycle keys in my mother's hand, feeling something cold settle in my chest. She explained how my sister had earned this gift because she actually calls and stays in touch, unlike me. The implication hung heavy in the air. I was the ungrateful son who didn't deserve nice things. I smiled and told her that was cool, and since my sister was clearly the better child, she could handle covering their expenses this month. Mom's face shifted slightly, but she didn't say anything. She probably thought I was joking. I wasn't. For the past 3 years, I'd been quietly paying their car insurance, health insurance supplements, and helping with their mortgage when Dad's hours got cut. Not because they asked, they never asked me for anything, but because I noticed the stress lines around Dad's eyes when bills came in, and because I loved them despite everything. My sister lived 2 states away, called every Sunday for exactly 15 minutes, and sent a card on birthdays. Somehow, this made her the golden child while my silent financial support went unnoticed. That evening, I sat in my apartment reviewing the insurance policies. My name was on everything as the primary account holder. I'd set it up that way 3 years ago when Dad had his heart scare and their premium skyrocketed. The family plan saved them nearly $800 monthly. I opened my laptop and began the process. The next morning, I called the insurance company and requested to remove my parents and sister from all policies effective immediately. The representative asked if I was sure, explaining there would be a gap in coverage. I confirmed I was certain. Then I called their mortgage company and removed the automatic payment authorization from my account. The customer service representative noted that the next payment was due in 12 days. My phone stayed silent all day Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday morning, Dad called. He sounded confused, asking if I knew anything about their car insurance being canceled. He'd gotten a notice in the mail and didn't understand what happened. I told him I wasn't sure. Maybe he should call the company directly. Friday brought another call. This time Mom was on the line, her voice tight with stress. She explained that not only was their car insurance canceled, but their health insurance supplement was also terminated. She asked if there had been some kind of mistake with the payments. I told her these things happen sometimes with automatic billing and suggested they contact their bank. By Saturday, the panic had fully set in. Dad called 3 times. The mortgage company had contacted them about a missed payment. Their insurance agent couldn't explain why all their policies had suddenly lapsed, and they were scrambling to get new coverage before Dad had to drive to work Monday. I let each call go to voicemail. Sunday evening, my sister finally called me. She was angry, demanding to know why I wasn't helping our parents figure out this insurance mess. She'd gotten a frantic call from Mom, who was crying about not being able to afford new policies with their credit situation. I asked my sister what she thought I should do about it. She told me I needed to help them. That family takes care of family. The irony wasn't lost on me. I explained that I was sure she had it handled, being the daughter who actually calls and stays in touch. Surely someone so attentive and caring could figure out a solution. The silence stretched long enough that I wondered if the call had dropped. Update 1. Monday morning brought a call from Mom. Her voice was different now, smaller, uncertain. She asked if we could talk, really talk, about what was happening. She said she'd been thinking about our conversation regarding the motorcycle and wondered if there was something she was missing. I told her I'd be happy to explain. We met at the coffee shop where I used to work during college. Mom looked older somehow, more fragile than I remembered. She asked directly if I had been helping with their bills. I pulled out my phone and showed her 3 years of bank statements. The insurance payments, the mortgage assistance, the emergency car repair last winter, the medical bills from Dad's procedures. Line item after line item of support I provided without ever mentioning it. Her face went white as she scrolled through the evidence. She asked why I never told them. I explained that I didn't want them to feel obligated or guilty. I helped because I wanted to, because I loved them. But apparently, love wasn't measured in quiet support. It was measured in phone calls and visibility. Mom started crying right there in the coffee shop. She said she had no idea, that she thought I was just busy with my own life and didn't care much about family. She'd been so focused on my sister's regular calls that she'd completely missed everything I was actually doing. I told her that my sister could take over now. She was clearly the more attentive child, so this transition made perfect sense. Mom asked what it would take for me to reconsider. I looked at her for a long moment, then told her I needed to think about it. Update 2. That evening, my sister called again. This time, her tone was completely different. Mom had apparently filled her in on the financial reality of the situation. My sister asked if we could meet when she came into town next weekend. I agreed. She arrived Friday evening, and we sat in my living room while she tried to process everything. She admitted she had no idea I'd been supporting our parents financially. She'd assumed they were doing fine on their own. I asked her what she thought should happen now. She was quiet for several minutes before admitting she couldn't take over the payments. Her own finances were tight with her mortgage and kids' expenses. She asked if there was a way to work something out. I told her I was open to discussion, but things would need to change. My proposal was simple. If I resumed the financial support, I wanted equal recognition as a family member. No more comments about who calls more or who cares more. No more golden child treatment based on surface-level gestures while substantial support went unacknowledged. She agreed immediately, then asked what I needed from her specifically. I thought about it, then told her I didn't need anything from her. This wasn't about competition between siblings. This was about parents understanding that love and care come in many forms, and that maybe they should pay attention to what their children actually do rather than just what's most visible. Update 3. The following Monday, I reinstated their insurance policies and resumed the mortgage assistance. But I also did something else. I set up a family group chat and sent a monthly summary of all shared expenses and who was contributing what. Transparency, I decided, was going to be the new family policy. The first month's summary was eye-opening for everyone. My sister started contributing what she could, not much, but something. More importantly, Mom and Dad finally understood the full picture of how their household actually functioned. The motorcycle incident became a turning point. Not because I wanted to punish anyone, but because sometimes people need to see the consequences of their assumptions before they can recognize what they've been taking for granted. Mom never made another comment about who was the better child. Dad started calling me regularly, not to ask for anything, but just to check in. My sister and I developed a better relationship based on honest communication rather than unspoken competition. The motorcycle still sits in their garage. My sister never learned to ride it, and honestly, I think Mom bought it more as a symbol than a practical gift anyway. Sometimes symbols matter, but actions matter more. I learned that helping family doesn't have to be invisible to be genuine. And my family learned that love expressed through consistent action is just as valuable as love expressed through regular phone calls. The panic I watched them experience during those few days without coverage wasn't about revenge, it was about revelation. Sometimes you have to remove something before people realize it was there at all. Now when I visit, there's a different energy in the house. More appreciation, more awareness, more balance. My sister calls just as often as before, but now she also asks what she can do to help rather than assuming everything is handled by someone else. The whole experience taught me that setting boundaries isn't cruel, it's necessary. And sometimes the people who love you need a wake-up call to see how their words and actions affect you. I still help my parents financially, but now it's acknowledged and appreciated rather than invisible and taken for granted. That makes all the difference in the world.